Powerful countries in the world possess a weapon through which they can remove the leader of any country. This weapon is called a coup. Coup is a French word which means to punch, cut, or forcibly remove something. In politics, this word is used when a leader in a country is forcibly removed and replaced with another. In any country, when a coup happens, there are many reasons and players involved. But in today's video, I will tell you how, over the last 100 years, America has used these coups to overthrow governments in different countries for its own benefit. You will also realize today that the world does not follow international rules or laws as we might think. There is no such thing. Whoever has power can do whatever they want in any way. In this video, I will talk about the countries where America was directly involved in coups, and each of these could have a separate video. But my attempt will be to briefly cover each one, so everything gets covered in less time. Let's start with the year 1893. This is the year when America first conducted a coup in any country. 3,500 miles away from America, Hawaii's queen was becoming a threat to the American sugar industry. In fact, many years earlier, American missionaries had come to Hawaii to spread Christianity, and they had bought a lot of land, starting sugar farming there. All this sugar was being exported to America, and the locals were receiving very little profit. The Queen drafted a constitution to impose restrictions on these sugar businessmen. This raised alarms among the big sugar mill owners in America, and soon after, America sent many of its military ships to Hawaii. With the help of a few locals, they removed the Queen and installed one of these Christian missionaries as Hawaii's new president. This was America's first attempt, and it was completely successful. They say once a lion tastes blood, it will destroy everything in its path. Something similar happened with America. Now let's move to 1895. America was emerging as a new superpower, and it didn't like the Spanish Empire's colonies being so close. These were very strategic islands. America was looking for any opportunity, and it got one when a ship in Puerto Rico sank. America blamed the Spanish Empire for it and officially entered the war between the Spanish Empire and the locals. America promised the locals of Puerto Rico, Cuba, Guam, and the Philippines that if they drove out the Spanish Empire, they would make these countries independent. With America's support, the locals forced the Spanish Empire to leave, and America installed its puppet leaders in these four countries. In just 8 years, America had installed its preferred governments in all of them through coups. Moving to 1909, there's a country in Central America called Nicaragua. The soil here was very fertile for growing coffee beans, and many American companies had invested in it. The new president who came into power tried to regulate these American companies, which were exploiting Nicaragua's natural resources. America didn't want that to happen. So America created propaganda saying that this president was trying to build a canal like the Panama Canal, which made the neighboring countries turn against him. Soon after, a rebellion broke out in Nicaragua, and America sent its navy ships. With America's help, the rebels won, and the president had to resign. America then installed its preferred government here too. Just 2 years later, in 1911, America did the same in Honduras, a neighboring country. The president of Honduras was trying to regulate the American banana industry, which was controlled by one powerful American businessman known as Sam the Banana Man. Sam was so powerful that he brought his private army to attack the president. The American government silently watched. When the war reached its peak, the American government pressured for a ceasefire. Eventually, the president of Honduras had to resign, and Sam installed his own preferred president. This new president not only gave Sam more land for banana farming, but also made his companies tax-free. An American businessman had overthrown a whole country's government. Fast forward to 1950, when America was a major superpower. The CIA revolutionized warfare and focused not just on its neighbors, but the entire world. America's main rival at this time was the Soviet Union, and they wanted to stop the spread of communist ideologies. This brought us to Iran in 1953. Iran held new elections, and Mohammad Mossadegh became prime minister. Mossadegh wanted Iran to take control of its oil reserves, which were under British control at the time. The British government warned Mossadegh that there would be consequences if he tried to nationalize the oil industry. The British then decided, along with the CIA, that Mossadegh had to be removed. The CIA sent their Middle East bureau chief, Kermit Roosevelt, to Iran with the mission of removing Mossadegh. Through money, propaganda, and political maneuvering, they managed to create a situation where violent protests broke out. Mossadegh was forced to resign, arrested, and placed under house arrest for the rest of his life. To fill the power vacuum, the US and the UK brought Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi to power. This was a major victory for America, as it installed a pro-American dictator in Iran who opened up Iran's oil to American companies. But this led to significant repression in Iran. In 1979, after years of brutality, the people of Iran revolted and the Shah fled. The revolution was led by Ayatollah Khomeini, a religious leader who fundamentally changed Iran's culture and politics. America's involvement in the 1953 coup was a key factor in the rise of the 1979 revolution, which transformed Iran into an adversary of the West. In 1954, America used the same strategy in Guatemala. The democratically elected Prime Minister, Jacobo Arbenz, wanted to impose restrictions on American companies operating in the country. The United Fruit Company, a US-based banana company, was particularly impacted. The CIA launched a covert operation to overthrow the government. Using propaganda, money, and support from retired soldiers, the CIA created the illusion of a revolution. The pressure became too much, and the president resigned. A new CIA-backed government was installed, but this led to decades of instability and political killings in Guatemala. Now we fast forward to 1963. In Southeast Asia, Vietnam had become a focal point of the Cold War. The country was divided into the Communist North and the pro-Western South. America, determined to keep the South under its influence, found the grip of the South's president weakening. The US decided to support a coup against the South's president, which resulted in his assassination. This coup, however, led to a decade-long war in Vietnam, where America was ultimately defeated. In 1989, America intervened in Panama, a country crucial for the control of the Panama Canal, which was a major global shipping route. After an incident in which Panamanian soldiers accidentally killed American soldiers, the US sent 27,000 troops, crushed Panama's military, and arrested the dictator Manuel Noriega. America once again successfully overthrew a government. In 1989, while the Soviet Union was fighting in Afghanistan, America supported the Afghan Mujahideen, which ultimately led to the rise of the Taliban and Al-Qaeda. The US was later caught in a war with the very same groups it had once supported. By 2003, America turned its focus to Iraq and its leader, Saddam Hussein. Under the pretext of finding weapons of mass destruction, America invaded Iraq, toppled Saddam, and installed a pro-American government. However, the aftermath of this intervention led to the rise of groups like ISIS, which destabilized the region for years to come. In 2011, the Arab Spring began, with protests against dictatorships across the Arab world. The focus was on Libya, where Colonel Muammar Gaddafi had been in power for 32 years. America saw an opportunity to remove Gaddafi and, with NATO's help, carried out a military intervention. Gaddafi was eventually caught and killed. However, Libya has been in a state of instability since then. This video was one of the most detailed ones on this channel, and it highlights how powerful countries and people are willing to go to extreme lengths to achieve their objectives. And if you have power, the laws will bend for you. While it may be unpleasant, international geopolitics works this way. Let's see who America targets next, or perhaps America might soon face its own internal divisions or civil war.